Welcome to this flipped classroom based all on noun phrases and moving on to expanded noun phrases. So, what is a noun phrase? Look at noun phrase as two separate words and think, what do you already know that can help you work out what they are? Well, you guys are already noun wizards, so you should know that nouns are the names of a person, a place, or a thing. And you can get even more jazzy because you guys know that there are all different types of nouns. So, for example, there are proper nouns, which are the specific names of people or places or things. So, for example, Gospel Oak is a proper noun, Claire is a proper noun. And then we've got common nouns, which are common. So we see them everywhere, things like tables, pens, pencils. And then we've got collective nouns, which refer to groups of things, like a herd of sheep or a school of fish. And then we've got abstract nouns, which are abstract, and therefore they refer to normally feelings like happiness. And then we've got a phrase, and you guys are amazing with phrases. So you know that a phrase is a group of words which form part of a clause. And more importantly, we know that a phrase is a group of words that do not make sense on their own. So, when we are trying to identify noun phrases, it's really important that we think of this checklist, and it makes it really straightforward. So here we go. Let's read through them. A noun phrase must include a noun. That makes sense, doesn't it? A noun phrase adds detail to the noun. So when we're identifying where the noun is, we need to think, is there detail about it? And this usually takes form in an adjective, which describes it a little bit more. And then we have to think a noun phrase must have a determiner as part of it. Now, we haven't looked at determiners this year, but here's a bit of a crash course in them. A and the. They are the most frequently used determiners with noun phrases. They're not all of the determiners out there in the world, but these are three which are used most frequently with a noun phrase. So let's have a look at this first sentence. We made a cream cake today, and let's have a look at our checklist over here. The first point we need to think about is a noun phrase must include a noun. So if we go back to our sentence, have a look through it, pause the video and see if you can identify a noun in it. Okay, the second thing, if we look back at our checklist, is a noun phrase must add detail to the noun. So if we go back to our sentence, we made a cream cake today. We know that the cake is the common noun. Is there anything there that's giving me a little bit more detail about the noun? Well, you should be able to spot that cream is giving us more detail about the noun. So right now I found the noun, I've got extra detail. A noun phrase, so the third part of our checklist, must have a determiner as part of it. And just to recap what the three most commonly used determiners are with a noun phrase, a, an, and the. So we've got our noun, we've got the extra detail about it, and if you look really carefully, you can spot right in front of it, we've got the determiner a. So our noun phrase in this sentence is a cream cake. Let's move on to the second example. So, Riyadh found a tiny baby bird. If we go back to our checklist, a noun phrase must include a noun. Now, I'm sure that you guys have spotted that we've got a bit of an issue here, because in this sentence, we have two nouns. We've got a proper noun, which is Riyadh, it's the name of a person, and then we've got a common noun here, a bird. There are lots of different birds in the world. So in this situation, what should you do? Well, move on to the second part of your checklist, because you know that a noun phrase adds detail to the noun. It tells you more about your noun. And if we look over here and we focus on our first proper noun, Riyadh, Riyadh found. Okay, do I have any more information here about Riyadh? Do I know how old they are? Do I know whether they're a boy or a girl? No, I don't know anything at all about them. So it's very unlikely that Riyadh is going to be part of my noun phrase. Let's check over here for bird. Do I have any other extra information about my bird? Well, I do actually. I know that it's a tiny baby bird. So that's extra information or more detail about the bird. And if we look at the third part of our checklist, a noun phrase must have a determiner as part of it. Do we have a determiner here? We absolutely do. We've got a. So a tiny baby bird. This is our noun phrase right now. Let's look at the next one. Can you please pass me the green tennis ball? So if we look at our checklist, we know that the first thing we are searching for in a noun phrase is, of course, a noun. So here we have it, tennis ball. We've spotted our noun straight away. And then the second thing we need to think about is there anything there which is adding extra detail to that noun? And we know here that it's green. So we've got our first and the second part of our checklist. We've got a green tennis ball. And then if we look at the third part of it, we know that there should be a determiner in front of it. A and the. And if you look here, we've got the. So the green tennis ball in this sentence is the noun phrase. So now we're going to look at an expanded noun phrase. And before we move on to that, I want you to see if you can work out what an expanded noun phrase is on your own without me telling you. Look at the word expanded and link it to stuff that you may already know. For example, when we looked at contractions, we look at expanded and contracted forms of the word. What did it mean if a word was expanded? Pause the video and have a little think about it. Okay, you should have been able to remember that an expanded noun phrase, or an expanded word in this case, would be that it's got bigger, there's more to it. So if something expands, it's got larger. And here with an expanded noun phrase, we're basically going to be identifying a noun phrase just like before using a very similar checklist. But this time it's expanded. So I'm expecting there to be more detail about your noun. So it's normally 2 adjectives or more. We're looking for more detail in an expanded noun phrase. So if we look at this example, a troll. Do I know anything about the troll? No, it's actually really boring. I don't know whether it's big or if it's small, or if it's green or if it's purple. I don't know anything at all about it. It's just a basic noun. Whereas if we turn it into a noun phrase, for example, I could say that it's a green troll. So I've still got all of the basic checklist. I've got a noun, I've got a determiner, and I've got extra information about it. I've got more detail about that noun. I know it's green. Whereas if we move down here and really show off with an expanded noun phrase, I know that it's a gigantic green troll. Those are 2 things that I now know about it. And it makes your sentence so much more interesting, moving from a troll to a gigantic green troll. And I still have I still have all of my checklist from before. I've got a noun, I've got a determiner, and now I've got 2 other pieces of information about my noun. Okay, your challenge. I want all of you to complete the sheet that I've set for you this week. Read through the questions carefully and see if you can identify both noun phrases and challenge yourself to have a go at the expanded noun phrases. Well done, guys. I can't wait to see what you do.